up, guys? Welcome to the Woodworking Junkie, not the real junkie, and welcome to Q&A.
Q&A.
Let's jump right into it, guys. Corey James asked, where in Canada do you live? Corey, I'm originally from Bowmanville, Ontario. I grew up right on Lake Ontario. The town really reminds me of the movie The Goonies.
I love that movie.
One of my favorite movies, by the way. I grew up there and eventually moved to Stratford, Ontario, where I reside.
Jeez.
What would you smash with this melon?
Watermelons, of course. Like Gallagher. Isn't he
Probably
Canadian?
my feet, dude. Have you seen the size of my little tiny Canadian arms? I can't even lift that thing up. Like, you would probably break my elbows to lift that thing up above my waist.
We've got some changes coming to this Shop Talk series. More info on the collaborations and stickers, all coming up right here, so stick around. Well, hello everyone. Today is Saturday, May 7th. Welcome to another edition of Shop Talk. My name is Mike and I'd like to welcome you to my workshop. So what's been going on this week? Well, I haven't had a whole lot of time out in the shop, but I have had a lot of time to think about what's going to happen in this Shop Talk series moving forward. In my last Shop Talk, I threw out a question at the end and a poll and kind of soliciting feedback from everyone. I was really just kind of blown away with some of the comments and feedback that I received. So I wanted to thank everyone for your comments and your input. But I really wanted to point out one particular comment, and that came from Nathan. Nathan has a channel, A Young Man's Workshop. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. But Nathan really gave me some very inspiring comments and feedbacks, and I just wanted to thank him for that. I had a chance to meet Nathan at the Atlanta Woodworking Show, and if you're not familiar with his channel, he recently published a video where he interviewed some of the video woodworkers that were part of the booth in Atlanta. It was a very inspiring video to kind of get an idea of some input and some kind of the backstory from some of the makers and why they do what they do. Nathan's feedback was just really inspiring for me, because while I really enjoy doing these shop talks, sometimes I feel like I'm not really providing any good information for you guys, and I certainly don't want to waste anyone's time. But the input that Nathan gave me really kind of inspired me for some different ideas that I can incorporate into the Shop Talk series. So moving forward, that's what I plan to do. I know that folks have asked me about my shop, maybe a shop tour, and while I've thought about doing one, I've been sort of holding off because, well, it's a mess. There's a lot of clutter, and I thought, well, I want it to be perfect. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to start kind of highlighting some of the tools that I have, why I have them, what inspired me to purchase that tool, if I purchased it myself, or where I got the tool, and some of the things that I like about the tools, what I don't like, just some general information to share with you, so that maybe it will help someone in their next tool purchase, or just to see what tools I have. So that's what I plan to do. So look forward to that. I'm actually going to start with this one, talking about my 14-inch Powermatic band. Now the first tool in this series of sort of tool, I'm not really going to call them tool reviews, but just kind of exposing you to the tools that I own, is my 14-inch Powermatic bandsaw. Now how I came about having this saw is it actually belonged to my father, and back in '99 my father had a pretty massive stroke, and he was no longer able to work in his shop and use any of his tools due to the effects of the stroke. And so I kind of inherited all of his tools, and this was one of them. Now he was in woodworking for years, and though he had retired, he had collected a few tools to work in a much smaller shop. And so I've really enjoyed using this tool. I've had it for, well, since '99, since about 2000, and it's really been a workhorse for me. It's got a 1 horsepower motor. It's single phase, although it can be wired for 230 volts. I've just powered it with a 120 volt circuit. And I like the flexibility that it provides. I mean, I've got a number of blades that he had, both a real narrow blade for some fine kind of almost scroll saw type work, as well as a much wider blade. This is a Timberwolf blade that I used for resawing before I acquired the larger Powermatic bandsaw. This is a very powerful blade, and the only difficulty that I had was I'm kind of limited on the resaw capacity that I have on this saw. Now I've got this zero clearance, well, it's just a piece of plywood that I haven't taken off of this the table. This is what I had on there when I was cutting some metal with it for that project for my church. So if I slide this off, let's see here. The table that's actually underneath is a table that I built several years ago. I got the plans out of some woodworking magazine, I can't recall exactly, but it's served me pretty well. It's a pretty simple design. It's plywood and it's wrapped in solid wood, some scraps of maple that I had, and it does have this insert that you can remove and replace. It's a zero clearance insert. This one's pretty chewed up from trying to cut a piece of pine log, which long story there, but so I need to make some new ones for that. On the front, it's got this aluminum rail, and I actually have a fence. I'm not sure where it's got off to at the moment, but there's a fence that clamps onto this aluminum angle, and you can use it for resawing. It provides a fence here as well as a pivot point for resawing. And so this, like I said, this saw has really served me well. It's an older model. I have the only upgrade really that I've done to it is I put some of the urethane tires on both the top and the bottom pulleys. I'll show you those real quick. So the urethane tires from I think I got them from Rockler. These were a great upgrade for this saw, and it looks like it'll take blade sizes from 1/8 inch up to 1 inch. So again, the only real complaint that I have about the saw is its dust collection. It's got a very odd sized port on the back, and I never really have found any type of adapter to make it work. And let me just show you that real quick. Okay, so this is the dust collection port on the saw, and as you can see, it is, well, it's a 3-inch port is what it is. I'm sure that there are adapters for this, but I seem to struggle to find anything that would really work. And what I've resorted to doing is just sliding this in here because it kind of fits a little snug, and then I simply stick my the hose from my CT dust extractor in here, and it kind of works. It's certainly not ideal. I probably should try to find a more permanent solution for this problem, but hey, that's what I do. It works for me, and so I keep doing that. The other upgrade that I did to this particular saw is I purchased one of these mobile bases by Rockler. And so if you're not familiar with these, you get the corner frame pieces as well as this lever action with a caster underneath, and then you just have to provide some hardwood. And so in this one, I think I've got some scrap chunks of cherry that I had, and it works really well. It's got 2 rollers in the back there on the back corners. The saw just sits in this in the gussets in the corners, and you just use your foot or you can use your hand to raise and lower this lever to move the saw around, and it works pretty well. Makes it very mobile and can push it around your shop wherever you need it. Well, so that's it for this first kind of tool review series or tool exposure series. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more of the tools, let me know in the comments below, and I appreciate the feedback. Thanks. As far as collaborations, I have been speaking with a couple of YouTubers regarding doing some potential collaborations. One in particular was one that I met in Atlanta. I'm not going to name him just yet, but we've been kind of talking back and forth and discussing what we're planning to do, and I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen. The plan right now is for him to come up to my shop first, and we're going to knock out some projects here and work on some things together. So I'm really excited about that, putting a plan together, and can't wait to get started on that and share all of that with you. So stay tuned for that. Also, this week, a viewer of mine and a follower on Instagram was gracious enough to come by the shop and bring me a slab of wood. And in fact, he brought me 3 boards. He brought me a slab of red maple, which still has the live edge on both sides. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of wood, and I'm certain that I'm going to be able to incorporate it in my workbench build. In addition, he brought me 2 boards of walnut. These are beautiful boards. They're probably 10 to 12 inches wide, very flat. They're about 3/4 inches thick. So I'm sure that I'm going to be able to use those as well. In fact, I may be able to incorporate some of that into the workbench. So I'm very thankful and grateful for Mike for doing that. Mike has a local business. It's a big time rental. His business is all about setting up for different events, and sometimes he actually builds some of the components that he uses for the events depending on what it is. And I'll leave a link to his Instagram account in the description below. But I just want to say thank you, Mike, for your generosity. I really appreciate this wood, and I'll certainly put it to good use. So thanks again. Lastly, our stickers. I did receive some stickers in the mail this week, and I always look forward to going by my post office box and opening it up and seeing what kind of mail and stickers I'm going to have in there. So thank you so much. Please keep sending them. I have a link in the description below to my post office box, or you can click on the About tab. Send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. I'd be happy to send you out a couple of stickers, or send me some of your stickers and I will reciprocate with mine. So the first note and card came from Mark Lacroix at Forest Trek Woodwork. Mark has a really interesting logo design that's pretty neat. I've been seeing it around, so thank you, Mark. Check him out on Instagram. The next one comes from Kndwoodcraft, and I'm trying to remember this gentleman's name. He's from Canada, but I think it was Brian, maybe? I'm not sure. I'll leave a link in the description below to his as well. So certainly pretty cool design on his sticker. Also, Grant Plummer with Heart and Grain sent me just a really thoughtful note and one of his stickers. I'm excited to receive that. Grant does some really nice work as well, so you have to check out his work. And lastly is Chris Sowa from Lumbertown Woodworks. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Chris, but Chris does some pretty nice work as well. So again, I'll leave links in the description below to all of those channels. If you like this update, please give me that thumbs up, and why not go ahead and push that subscribe button. I'll have more tool reviews, shop videos, shop talks, organization projects, and hopefully some furniture build projects coming out later this year. Thanks for watching. Roll the sticker music.